Hello, everyone, and welcome to the season premiere of Got Something For Ya. Today, we are recapping the premiere episode of Survivor 48. I'm so excited to be joined by my co-host, Ollie and Phil. I've missed you too. It's good to see you. It's good to be back with the team.
It's good to be back.
Excellent. We're
a great start.
We're great start already. Internet freezing. We're perfect. Phil, you froze for a second, but we did this for Australian Survivor, which, by the way, if you're not watching our Australian Survivor recaps, but you are watching Survivor Australia Brains versus Bronze 2, let us know in the comments, and then come join Ollie, myself, and Valeria to talk about that. But on our first episode, we ranked the premiere week on a scale of 1, from being on par with the worst season of Survivor you've ever seen, to 10 best premiere ever. I just want to poll everyone real quick. Our live chat is open, and I want to ask both of you, where would this premiere of Survivor 48 kind of fall for you if we were to grade it?
Sorry, one more time. The scale is from 1 to
10, unless you want to do 1 to 100, if that gives you more wiggle room.
No. 1 to 10 is okay. You know what? For a premiere, and I hope this is not like a crazy thing to say, I was really, really feeling this premiere. I feel like we got a little bit of everything. We got to learn about all the characters, right? The contestants, rather. I feel like everyone got a little bit of something. We also got contentious moments. We got heartfelt moments. And we sort of got some character moments from everybody. Or not from everybody, from a lot of people. So I left the premiere feeling very, very satisfied. What about you guys?
Yeah, I was very satisfied. We had like a little bit of a heartfelt moment. We had some spicy moments. It was all there for me. We had some drama. Like, who doesn't love it? So yeah, I was definitely content. I'd give it an 8. I think it was good.
Ollie's giving it an 8.
I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to be nice.
Phil, did you put a number to yours?
I was going to say, I don't think I gave it a number. I think I just talked about it. You know what? If I have to give it a number, I think I would probably give it a 7.5.
Wow. Okay.
I feel like an 8 is like very, very good. And not to say that this premiere was not very, very good, but I want to see a little bit more, you know? I'm going to give it a 7.5, but it's definitely no season 45. That's for sure.
I mean, that's a really good point. That premiere was incredible. I had a really interesting premiere night experience. Bryce and Wen were doing their premiere party in New York City, so I got to go to Bryce and Wen Present. I was so happy to meet some of you there. Brian, good to see you in the chat. I had an excellent time meeting you as well. Thank you so much for saying hello. I know Kara enjoyed meeting you too, so it was really excellent. I think I would give it like a solid 7. And also welcome, Drogo. Thank you so much. We love having all of our guests join us, getting to talk about all things Survivor. We've been very lucky with some of the guests that we've already had. Amy would give the premiere an 8.2. I like the decimals that we're getting into.
I like the specificity. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, me too. I think I would give it like a solid, I was like a 6.8. Because I loved the experience of watching it. I rewatched it twice. However, that being said, I didn't walk away feeling like it was that memorable.
Huh.
I know.
I have a couple questions here. For starters, where in the world do you find the time to watch this 3 times between Wednesday and today? Lord, my friend.
Unemployment is a weird thing, Phil.
Look, I didn't mean to bring up that stuff. Second question is, what do you think left you feeling underwhelmed?
You know, I think what it was for me is that this premiere felt like it was hitting all of the Survivor beats that we've come to know from premieres and premieres fast. We started off on such a great energy. Don't get me wrong. I thought that was a really awesome way to start it, where we saw everyone's casting videos, where they were all so excited to hear that they were on the cast of Survivor 48. That was really special. But from there, I felt like it just kind of, the energy kind of diffused a little bit. I kind of felt like a little bit like Stephanie in the show. I kind of felt like, okay, like are we jumping right into gameplay mode, or are we going to sit back and kind of assess? And we find out later that she may have chose the wrong path in terms of her game, but I just walked away feeling like, all right, feel like I've kind of seen this before, and I needed a new energy.
That's fair. And I think that has been a pretty common critique, is just like a little bit too much rinse and repeat. So I think that's fair. Ollie?
Fair. I don't really have much. I don't really have much to add, I'm not gonna lie.
I love it. Thank you, Ollie, for providing those hot takes of yours. You know what's funny about this picture also? For some reason, the cast feels, it's the same amount of players that we've had since 41. The cast feels so small. Yeah. I don't know if it's because of just how spaced out they are, or if it's because everyone's just kind of behind each other. But yeah, it felt kind of empty to me. Let's see. Oh, Randy says, I was also underwhelmed, but I'm more of a GameBot fan, so less interested in stories and more on moves. The episode was slow for me personally. I'd give it a 5 out of 10. All right.
Okay, you know what? I'm breaking this here. Okay, and maybe it is the counterculturalist in me that, like, knowing that you all have all these wild critiques. This was a good premiere. This was a good premiere.
Yeah.
And I think that it's interesting because, to sort of me and Ollie's point, you really did get everything, you know? And we're going to touch on all these things, but the moment between Joe and Eva, right? The moments between Say and Stephanie, right? Even just like the little intricacies over on Orange with Kyle and the flight attendant.
Oh, Charity. Just like, I do feel like every single tribe has a dynamic set up for the future. And I actually think that they are all dynamics that personally I find myself very interested in. So you know what? I'm going to bump it up. This premiere was an 8.5. I actually loved it. I think everyone needs to relax, man. I mean, this is the first episode. I'm sorry. By the way, Matthew, just to like show how quick we are to stomp on things, when I brought up 45, you said, oh, that was a good one, blah, blah, blah. No, it wasn't. 45 was one of the worst premieres of all time. That was where Homegirl couldn't go a day without her vape and had to go home. Like, we have seen awful premieres. To give a premiere like this a 5 out of 10, Randy, I'm sorry, what? I think that we are being way too harsh. This was a good premiere. Group chat's going to be arguing tonight.
No, good. Honestly, I'm excited about. Thank you for reminding me.
I think this was a good premiere. I don't know why we're dumping on it like it was a bad premiere.
I don't think it was bad.
Okay. Well,
I don't think it was bad. And Randy gave it a 5 out of 10. I still think it was solid.
This is the snowball of critiques on Survivor. This happens every single time. Thank you, Gabe. It was an entertaining premiere this season. I think that it's just like, it's so easy to like throw out one little critique and then it snowballs until all of a sudden we're giving it a 5 out of 10. I think that's wild, right? Brian, pull it up. 8.5 for the California girls. Okay. We love that. You want some positivity in here. I'm loving this season so far. I really, really like it. Randy,
good.
Please.
And I do think we're off to a good start. I will say, like, I think I was underwhelmed by the energy of the premiere. I agree with you, though, Phil. I think that there was quite a bit of, like, this will come up again, right, of things that happened during it. So, again, my point from before, I didn't think it was terrible. I was just a little underwhelmed with the energy. Maybe that was just because of my high expectations.
Let's get San Higdon up here. One of the best premieres of the new era. Arguably so. Genuinely. I mean, I don't know. Think back. What premieres do you think beat this? Because that's the thing. When you start really quantifying it, I actually think this is a really good premiere. We have put a bunch of seeds in soil and things are ready to bloom. I think that I look back on other premieres and it's like, I don't think that we've had premieres that give us as much while also staying like domed to the point where we can actually like follow the different threads, the different storylines. I don't know. I'm feeling it.
There you go.
Yeah. It's kind of giving me slight, like not comparing it, but it was reminding me of 46. Where we had like some dramatic moments, we had some setups, like it was all there. Yeah,
and we're getting different characters here too. I mean, it's not like we have a bunch of one-note characters. I even love the casting. We're back to having like big, strong, hot guys. That's pretty sweet, right? We have David over there. We have Joe. We have all these hulking people. And a lot of people have made the comment, this is one of the most like athletic, sort of foundational, like on the whole. It's a very athletic group.
Did you see that Fishback was saying? I saw that clip where Fishback was like, oh, they're bringing the hot back.
Yes. And y'all know I love Fishback. But I also want to throw up Amy. we also saw Jeff wiped out. Y'all see that?
Oh,
yes.
we'll get to that. We will get to that.
Okay. Hold on that, Amy. I'm excited to talk about it too.
I'm going to start that for you.
I totally forgot about that. And Amy made a good point also before that I think it feels small just because we like the cast is just much bigger on Australian Survivor. So that's a good point. And we just had that premiere, so that's fresh in mind as well. But let's get into it, right? Because we start out with the same thing that we've done in the past seasons. But I do kind of like the fact that there's kind of like this like mud entry into the game. Like it's like as soon as you hit the mud, like you're in. And I think we talked about this a little bit last season, which by the way, when we're talking about favorite premieres, I think 47 ranks really high in terms of, and you know what? I'm not gonna sit down. Although the ending of the 45 premiere was upsetting and underwhelming, I actually really liked what we got before that. All of that.
You could not pay me any amount of money to sit through episode 1, 2, and who was the other quitter? There are certain episodes in 45. Genuinely, I don't think you could pay me to sit through 45 again.
Did all the quits happen in the first 3 weeks, or I forget?
I remember. I believe that there were so many quits that season, or at least forced. Yeah, forced. I think that one of them like wasn't necessarily a quit, but there were just not like non-votes. So many non-votes. That it was
right. Because
I would genuinely. I don't think that I would ever watch the 45 preseason again. I can't do. We can do hard things. Oh
yeah.
Ellipses. Yeah, ellipses. I cannot. But yeah, I really like this one. But to your point about the mud here, let's just start honing in on this season. I love this new analogy that has been started, and it's sort of once again Survivor being birthed into Survivor, and it's starting with you diving in some mud and coming out on the other side. I think that we are now, 6 seasons running with this? I think that there are certain things that, even though we see it time and time again, it does start to become like a staple and something that you look forward to. For me, this is that. I do not necessarily think that where it's like, oh my God, get rid of the mud. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool sort of aspect of the game. The one thing that I think, though, is that people should start taking bets on who is going to get injured in the first challenge. Because that has been such a common occurrence now. It's like it should be part of drafts.
Didn't we know going into the season that for some reason I felt like it was Kevin before I saw the episode, but that could just be memory speaking. I don't know.
I did not know.
Okay.
I did not know. Ollie?
No. I don't think we knew who it was.
Okay. You're right, Phil, though. It seems like every season, that's something to get tired of. Someone getting injured in the very first challenge, which we'll talk about because it's funny what ends up happening after the challenge. But the purple, guys, what's the purple? Loggy,
yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. They win, and it was really awesome to see them win. Good for them. They win their Survivor, what is it? Survivor starter kit, or a good leg up, with everything. But then the other tribes, this is where it's like, oh, are we going to do sweat versus savvy, sweat and savvy? What are we going to do? They have to select one member from each of the losing tribes to go do something, and they choose Kevin and Kyle. Mike Bloom tweeted out a few days ago that, and let me know if anyone else has seen this, that the thing that happened to Kevin was so much more intense than what we saw on the episode.
Yeah.
Like they spent some time.
It's on the social media part, if that helps.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. But it just boggles my mind because I don't know did Kevin raise his hand? I thought that
everyone else kind of everyone else kind of just went, Kevin, you go, and he was like, really, me?
After that, put back into his socket, and they're like, okay, Kevin, you got this.
Yeah, that was wild. I mean, props to Kevin for being able to do that as well. How do we feel about the picks, though? Because I was quite shocked that Kyle kind of went. I thought it was going to be someone else.
What made you think that? What made you think that?
I just because it's Chocolate Milk Man, as I love him, Mr. David. I just thought David just seems like the type he'd go for it. I was waiting to see David go for it, but I like that Kyle went for it.
Yeah, I will say I love David's comment when Kyle comes back. Obviously, we'll get to that in a little bit, but I just think that's like so cheeky and hilarious. But to your point, yeah, I mean, he should have gone out there and very well might have won this challenge for them. But I also think that like this first challenge here, honestly, I think that this is hyped up a little bit. They don't get all that much, and I believe that what they don't get, they're eligible for at the immunity challenge.
Right, like the Flint.
After, yeah.
So it's not like they spend. It's not like, oh, if you don't get your supplies here, like you're screwed. Like there's a fail safe there. You know, there's a pretty quick fail safe.
But do they still get the pot and machete though?
I think that that's what they are fighting for. I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do believe. But I also think that like it's nice, right? The new era has birthed. Like it's not like you get picked for this journey, and if you don't come back with anything, everyone thinks that you're a big liar and that you have an advantage.
Right.
That has died down, which is nice. Which is very nice.
And I like that this was a play on like what we got with 47, where Asia and TK had to do like a 1v1 thing. Like I loved that. So I like that we got a different version of that here when they were pulling up those ropes in the forest, and then it became a thicker rope. I was like, that's a lot that they have to do. But it was interesting. I like seeing the two approaches here because they made it very clear that Kyle was going for the more erratic strategy, and Kevin, what we were shown, was a bit more methodical, slow and steady when it came to it. And it ends up having a massive effect towards the end of the challenge because unfortunately, Kyle accidentally breaks the glass jug that he's supposed to pour the water into, and the challenge ends for him.
And this has got to be the best case scenario for Survivor, right? I mean, you see the person that is moving erratically. Oh my God, he's sort of relying on more of his strength, more of instinct versus his counterpart, who is working more slow and methodic. How better way to emphasize that? Kyle broke the challenge. I mean, this does not happen often. Ollie, you look like you're.
I don't understand. Like, clearly he was the one drinking all the chocolate milk because, like, how has he managed to like break that glass? Like, I found that impressive in the sense that, like, he was able to break that.
I don't think
it's that tough.
Okay, right? Fair enough.
It's a giant. Yeah.
It's the giant glass thing, and the corner. It was like just the corner of the pot that he was using hit.
Yeah.
You know what happened? You know how they say like it's hard to break glass when it's spread out on a wide surface area? I think that's what happened. I think that just the point that hit it just was enough to. So sorry, because he just really wanted to prove himself with his tribe. But I think we see a lot about Kyle's character come out when he decides to help Kevin finish up the task. And I really enjoyed seeing this. I really did. I just thought this was so wonderful. And, you know, because it's at the point where it's not like Kevin can lose anymore, right? Because Kyle's out of the challenge. So to just say, all right, we'll just help you get this done faster, I think was a really nice thing.
And I think it was a really good move, like socially, and like a really good subtle social move because it's like kind of Kevin said, Kevin's like, I'm going to remember that. Like, I'm going to remember him doing that for me. So that was definitely like, well done, brownie points. Like, not cross-tribing, but like.
Kind of, though. A little bit.
Kind of.
It's absolutely cross-tribing. Yeah.
In the sense of like, he was playing the long game there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I loved seeing this, right? Again, it added more sort of like intentionality to what happened thereafter he broke his challenge, right? I think that it would be, honestly, like a little whack and underwhelming if after he broke his challenge, it was like, oh, well, I'm going to stand here and watch you do your thing. Or maybe he had like a little private episode where he's like off into a corner reeling. Like, this is what you want, right? You want something that's going to actually add to the dynamic of the game. And for Kyle to take this opportunity, oh, okay, I broke my challenge. I'm now going to help Kevin so that, one, to your point, Ollie, yes, like, what a great social play. That said, and I think that we can maybe all agree to this. Please speak up if you don't. I don't think that was the point. And I think that that's what made this even better. I don't think that was the point here. I don't think that Kyle is like, you know, deep brain, like, not to say that he couldn't. I mean, he's a lawyer, seems like a very stand-up, smart guy. It's just that I don't think that that's what this was about. I think this was truly a human moment. And I think that, again, I think it's another reason why I really, really like this premiere. There were multiple straight human moments. Like, no game, no, can it bleed into gameplay and affect gameplay in the future? Absolutely, right? Even with Joe and Eva, that's going to affect gameplay in the future. But for what it's worth, right now, I think that we're just seeing some human moments, which is really nice to see in New Era Survivor, where everything has gotten so like
game.
Yeah.
And Phil, I agree with you. I think that the strategy or social strategy that people can perceive from Kyle, I think that's like a cherry on top of what he was really. I think that this felt very authentic to just like, all right, we're gonna get this done. And I think you're right about that. I see all of the Jelinski comparison. I've thought that too. I was like, I hope that they didn't make him clean up the glass, because that was unintentional. Whereas Jelinski was just, he made a choice. And Amy just wanted to comment, Bruce and Abraham, if you were watching our other shows, we're talking about how heavy those pots are. I believe it. Especially when you have water in them. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Kevin gets to bring back the pot and the stuff for camp, and yay. So they are back at the camps. They're all getting comfortable, introducing each other. And Thomas seems like he's going to be a main character.
Yes, which I love. I was so happy when this was occurring, because I think, like, for me, like, Thomas made a really great analogy and kind of just summed up his tribe, like, socially, like, just down to a T. And he kind of understood the dynamics and went, right, this is what I've got to do. This is my main goal. And then stuff happened that he wasn't really thinking was going to happen. And he was like, I'm just going to work with it. Like, I'm going to go for it.
I mean, connecting with the other guys on the tribe.
Yeah, connecting with the other guys. And like, I think how he did it, again, he said in his confessional, like, I've just got to adapt my life to fit the other people's narratives, which I think was so smart of him.
And just going to catch you off guard real quick here, Ollie.
I've clocked that. I find it funny when I've seen those flip-flops, David. Don't try it. Love you.
Okay. Then we see Tom. It was so shady. Then we see Thomas connect really well with Bianca. And Phil, you were talking about the Ava and Joe thing that we see later on in the episode. But then we see that Thomas is forming this really nice connection with Bianca. So I'm curious to see kind of how these two external relationships to what seems like the core group, which is the three guys, how this is going to affect their alliance moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that what is for sure true with this, and it's kind of sad, is that Star is on the outs. And that feels so obvious, because to your point, right, you have the four that have all connected with one another. And I'm sorry, the three, the California girls have connected with one another. Thomas has this external alliance with Bianca here, and Joe has an external alliance with Eva. And so that really only leaves Star on the outs, which is, a little bit upsetting. You like to see everyone sort of get a chance to sort of play. And although I do think, and of course we'll get to it, like, Star has made her own mistake in the form of going idol hunting and disappearing for a long time. And I think that that's the thing. We've seen people make mistakes. Again, we will get to Green Tribe eventually, but when talking about Stephanie, Stephanie did not get voted off without agency, right? She was voted off because she made some mistakes, And I think that what's interesting though is that mistakes for one season might not be mistakes for another. Mistakes for one tribe might not mistakes for another. And I think that on this tribe, honestly, separate from Green, it was all about making these personal relationships. Thomas and Bianca have something that seems honest and true outside of just, I wanted an alliance, so like, get your ass over here. And I think that it's the same thing with Eva and Joe, right? But I do think that Star starting off here, searching, idol hunting, is not going to bode very well for her. But I think the other five are okay, at least for the first vote.
I know, and I got to meet Star at the beach drop and like instantly fell in love. And the beach drop was in New York City a couple weeks ago, and so this made me nervous for Star. I'm not gonna lie, all of these other alliances that were just forming all around. But let's jump over to some of the other tribes socializing. David, I'm really impressed with.
I'm crying.
Well, first of all, just physically, but also I'm very, very impressed. Your approach to getting
Pull-ups.
in with the what Phil?
2 pull-ups.
Well, to pull up,
His approach to
obviously.
pull-ups.
Yeah. But
Right.
I think David's doing a really good job socially with the tribe. And you mentioned Phil, you mentioned that thing that he the comments that he made about Kyle and how
Very funny.
it was so great. It was so great and also
Yeah.
very, very true, right? It's not like he didn't just have suspicion because Kyle came back with nothing. He was able to see that Kyle was like very much telling the truth of what his experience was and said, all right, we're just gonna move on.
Yeah, and I think being able to read someone like that, that's important, right? I mean, go back to like Jam's win. His whole like setup for his win was that I was able to see the twinkle in people's eyes when they were being honest with me,
So good.
and I saw when they did not have that in their eyes. And like that's a real skill. That's a real thing, you know. Speaking on behalf of myself, like I believe that I am someone that if someone's telling me something, I believe that I can look in their eyes and I can tell. And I think that some people have it, some people do not. But I did find it interesting that is specifically how David outlined this. It wasn't like, oh man, like, yeah, you know, I trust Kyle. I saw him. He looked like a cool guy. Like, no, he specifically outlined, like, no, I looked in his eyes and I could see through his eyes to his honesty. Like, maybe speaks to David's game moving forward. I think that, you know, preseason, a lot of people were joking on old David. I think David is long for the game here, and frankly, yeah. But who are you looking for over there, Ollie? Maybe who I'm talking about. But this is the thing. It's like I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people were very harsh on David to start from day one. I was like, what David has is he's got charm, man. This dude is so charming and he's so charismatic. And he's someone like, you know, much like myself. I rely on my social skills more often than not. There are times where I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm like, hey, I can talk and I'll be okay. And I can see that in David. And separate from me, David also has muscles. So I think that David is going to be okay for the beginning part of this game. And I think that at the end, you know, I think he'll face some struggles, but I think he's going to be okay.
Extremely charismatic. Very, very good on camera, but also just socially. As we're all saying, he's got the chocolate milk. He likes chocolate milk, but he does not like water. Which David, can you explain more?
No, but can we also just? I need to talk about this really subtle camera moment that.
Yes.
Like it was Charity. You see everyone else reacting, and you see Charity just sat there looking at the camera, going, Love that. But yeah, I kind of agree with everyone. I think like David has done a really good job like socializing with his tribe at this point. And I enjoyed his confessional because he talked about obviously like some people portraying him as the hero, some people portray him as the villain. So it's seeing how he's going to be portrayed this season. And I kind of like that awareness. So I'm very intrigued to see how not just he develops, but how his perception with everyone else develops, because I feel like that's going to be a very key thing moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go, Phil.
No, go ahead, Matthew.
No, because I was going to switch to another person. So if
this is yes, just to tack on one thing. It's not just that he's aware of these things, right? He seems very cozy and comfortable in his branding, right? How old is he? Like 36 years old or something like that? This dude has been 38. Look at us. Oh my God. I just gave him another compliment. See, this is the thing. David has lived in his life and his body for however long. He is so cozy and comfortable in the possible ways that people can interpret him. And like, there is so much benefit in that. I think that being seen and branded in a way that you feel one is a mismatch to who you see yourself as is like frustrating in itself, harder to overcome. Then you were like fighting a branding that you don't agree with. But then there's also and I think that there was just, I don't know, to be able to stand there and be like, look, you're either going to all fall in love with me, think I'm hilarious and funny, or they're going to think I'm a villain. Either way, I'm okay with it. And I know how to work around it. Like that is huge. That's huge. I'm slowly becoming like a huge David fan, if it's not very clear. And I just think that I love Look, guys, and I'm getting the cheers from in the chat. It's not just because it's in the chat. Other people know. I will definitely critique even if you're in the chat. I just think David's doing a great job, and surprisingly so. True.
Yeah, I was really happy with David this episode, and I was really, really happy with Chrissy. I thought Chrissy was doing a wonderful job socially as well. I love when Kyle came back and she was like, "It's okay. The other tribe has no idea what they're doing with the materials." You know, she's like making light of everything.
Yes.
She's so good at like those quick whips or like the witty banter back and forth. I like it. I like what I'm seeing from her. I'm curious to see where the divisions end up on their tribe. But right now, those two I'm looking at the most.
Can't remember if the next.
And Amy wants to remind you that we gave your khaki slacks an overall spark. I snuffed it. I'm sorry, but the majority was.
Yeah, David. He snuffed you. Are you getting anything from it?
Flops, and which you already commented on, Ollie. Anyway, then we see these symbols, which are they street signs or can they mean something else? I love when Say was like, I just thought it was like Eagle Avenue.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But I think this is more Siva and when David and Mitch spot it.
Yeah.
Which I think was really good. It was good that they were able to spot it. I do have one little criticism though. Would you go ahead and reveal it to everyone? Hey, there are all these signs. Hey, let's do this. For me, I was just very much like, I shut my mouth. But that's just me personally.
I think that I don't know, Matthew. It looks like you might be saying the same thing. This feels like the intention of this is that it is so complex and difficult that you need to let someone else in, or you are deemed to fail and not have your vote for an extended member. That's fair. Genuinely, think about it, man. All the different symbols, right? All the different colors of the symbols, having to memorize all those things, come back together and put into a code that is far more complex than a lot of the others that they've had on this show. I think that they go into these things, right? They're smart. These producers, they've been doing it for a long time. I think that they create these obstacles in mind, thinking, is this something that one person can do on their own? Is it something that they're going to have to bring someone in on? Now, look, did they have to bring 3 others in on it? Probably didn't have to.
No, but it worked out.
I was going to say, but I think that it worked out fantastic. And so, yeah, I'm actually with you, Ollie. In overall, right? On any given season, am I going to be sharing information? No. But if I am posed with a prompt that tells me that I have lost my vote until I can complete something, and I look at the scale of that something, and it's so obvious that it is something that I cannot complete on my own without spending so much time, I'm just going to have to. Matthew, it seems like you agree with me, but please knock me down if you don't.
Oh, well, first of all, David, thank you so much for stopping by, and we look forward to seeing you progress on the season. Hope you enjoy this experience. So going back to what you were saying, Phil, when I first saw all of this kind of starting to come together, the colorful animals all scattered around the trees and everything, I was so overwhelmed. I was beyond overwhelmed in terms of, you're right, I can't do this alone, especially because I think they're so prominent. All of these clues were just pasted everywhere that it would have boggled my mind if no one really gave it no thought at all. So I feel like at some point people are going to start looking at the clues, which is what happened. But I think this is a great opportunity to bring in an alliance. But maybe you don't want to be the person to get the beware advantage and hold on to it, but it would be so great to align with someone who does have the potential to lose their vote, and then also might get the advantage, and you're aligned with them.
I was just going to say, the difference here obviously is say brought 3 other people in, David brought the entire tribe. That's why I was
David also did not find the beware advantage.
No, right. This is true. Yeah, this is going to be the interesting part. Yeah.
Sorry, so I do think it's different. I think there's a case to be made that if David found the beware advantage, he would maybe have a little bit more discretion versus just oh shoot, look at this. What are these symbols? I think we got to do something about this. Versus being oh my God, I found it. I'm the guy that's going to do something about this. Let me see
Yeah.
the one person I want to bring in, you know?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's interesting that, I mean, definitely something that, to your point, it's like everyone is going to see these things at some point. So
Mhm.
you have to either bring someone in or do something about it fast, or, you know, risk being caught.
I am curious to see who ends up on their tribe with it all figured out, how many people know about it. I mean, I want to use this opportunity to jump over to, in my opinion, one of the most entertaining story slash character slash castaways of this first episode to me, which was Say. And
Loved
I
Say.
loved Say. Okay, you know what, Phil? What did I give the rating at the beginning? I didn't give it a
A
5.
6.5.
Yeah, that's right. 6.5, you said.
Say, I'm gonna bump it up to 7 for Say, because
Yes.
I thought that Say was excellent. You know, we'll see. I'm a bit worried game wise for Say moving forward,
Mhm.
but I loved seeing Say maneuver this, and I
Yes.
also, you know, Say wanted to go, which again, we talked about this a little bit earlier. On any other season, that may not be the correct approach to
Mhm.
that specific group of players. But here, it was just the right mixture of
Mhm.
attitudes on her tribe, which landed Say in a very good place. And it was
Yes.
it was. I felt so sorry. No. I mean, Stephanie kind of did. Well, I want to burn that hat. I'm sorry, Stephanie. Stephanie kind of did this
Yeah, we
to
didn't like it.
herself, where, you know, like Say was like, all right, let's talk game. And I wish that Stephanie and Mary were like, okay, Say wants to, like, I wish they followed Say's lead, even if they
Mhm.
didn't want to align with Say. I wish that they didn't just like stop Say in their tracks.
Yeah, and look, it's you know, where you can't find with some people, with certain people, you will be able to find with others, and that's exactly what happened with Say. Say ultimately, I find it ironic. Say originally brought up the idea of an alliance with the people that she ended up casting aside. They did not entertain the idea enough, and it's like, you know, there are two people in the world. There are people that are gonna hear that and be like, oh my god, all right, maybe I should stop talking about it. And there are people that go, okay, you don't want to do this? Let me go see if these guys do.
Mhm.
And she did, and she made it work. Like,
Yeah.
this has to be some of the most active first, like first rotation, first vote out, like gameplay we have ever seen ever. I mean, the woman had 21 confessionals by the end of this. She beat Tony's record. This is like,
She had more confessionals in one episode than Natalie White did in her entire season.
yeah, it is insane what she did in the first episode. It really is. And to your point, Matthew, I think that you sort of alluded to it. What this means for the future is a whole other conversation.
Mhm.
And like, you know, I want to be very clear. My rose-colored glasses are not so stained that I cannot see that this is like an absurd way to play. And in terms of like setting pace, this is insane, right? You cannot keep up this pace forever. You can't. And I think that setting the standard here, like, it's just I hope that she knows to dial it back. And I think that like one of the toughest votes for her might literally be the second vote here, because it happens so often, right? The person that is running stuff in the beginning is like the second rotation ends up being the, okay, but was that too much? And then all of a sudden they are the target. Obviously, she still has her idol. So I just hope that she plays this correctly, because there is a chance that she just looks like the biggest target by miles on her tribe, and someone who is doing so much and has been so active that even without her being like a threat, the argument of just like, dude, she's unpredictable is so like, is it's just such a lucid argument, you know? I am worried about her future in this game, but for right now, I'm loving everything that I'm seeing. She's great TV.
Oh
She's
god,
great
yeah.
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 And I think Gabe makes a really good point here that the smaller group size may have helped Say make her gameplay style a higher chance of success. I mean, again, because the psychology of bringing in, like, having a very small group of people and selecting a specific group of people to be in your majority. Like, some people just want to make it past the first vote. And if that means, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, just got to make it past the first episode. Like, I feel like it was the right time to sort of strike. And then, I mean, so she aligns Cedric, Justin, and Kevin. They kind of form the 3 with Say. But yeah, just going back, I hope Say doesn't burn bright and fast. You know, like I hope that there's a little bit more than just getting voted out next. I hope that does not happen. But I overall, I like this grouping.
Matthew.
Yes.
Historically, you are a Big Brother watcher. Historically, tried to cover that on the channel once upon a time, and that was a lot for you. I do not wish covering Big Brother on almost anybody because it is too much. It's too much. But I bring this up to say that you are very knowledgeable about Big Brother, and I want to know if you see the comparison of Justin to McCrae. Just in,
oh my god,
you see it, right? In my head, go ahead, Matthew, please.
I didn't watch McCrae's season.
I did, and I can
Sorry. Thank you, Ollie. I am not even a huge Big Brother guy at all. From the second that I saw him, I said, "What the heck does he look like? Who does he look like?" And the second that I heard McCrae, it clicked, and I said, "Oh my god, that's who it is." And I think that it is only emphasized by the fact that that shirt looks like something that they give you before you go into Big Brother, and it's like, oh. No branding. It says pizza on it. Yeah, you can wear this in the house. But he looks like he's on Big Brother in the island. And he looks
sorry. I wish I was able to give you more. At least Ollie knows who you're talking about. I think
that was the last one I watched.
Yeah, at least you got a little bit of confirmation there. But yes, sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there. Anyways,
I love it, but you're right. I mean, there's no clear branding. There's no clear what. You're right. He does kind of look like he was pulled straight out of Big Brother. House. And so voted out of the house and onto the island. So they're all together. I love this thing. I think that this thing is on par with the wax for me in terms of the idol being in the wax. It feels very Indiana Jones. It feels very like Tomb Raider to have, I forgot what it's called, the puzzle. Cryptogram. I love it. I want to keep that prop. Yeah. If I would say, I want to like just keep that prop as a souvenir because it's so cool. But did you two like this?
I love this. Yeah, it was
fun. Very, very fun. We jump back to Purple Loggy. It's going to take me a while to get the tribe names under the and again, just more of the same. We already spoke about this. The 3 guys forming. This is the California Girls formation.
I love it
because they're all from California. It is a California. Besides them 3, is there anyone else?
It's a very heavy California. David's from California. Camilla currently lives in California, even though she's from Canada. There's a fair few of them.
Yes, Phil.
To be fair, almost like many seasons are California heavy seasons. I feel like that's where they pick from quite a bit, which is really enough because the other one is Jersey. There's also a lot of Jersey.
Yes.
Really enough. I think that like outside of California, the number one place that they pluck from is Jersey, which is very interesting. I don't know what it is about our lovely home state, Matthew.
Hey, the Garden State.
That makes us ripe for casting.
Yeah.
But yeah, California Girls. I love it. I think it's fun.
It's a great name.
Like this is the first all-male alliance I'm rooting for.
Who do you think is the left shark of the group?
The what?
The left shark. If we're talking Katy Perry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, come on.
It took me a moment.
Okay. Katy Perry's Super Bowl halftime show. Anyone in the comments help us out?
Is it like a jump the shark thing or?
No, I'll show you later. It's a fun meme from Super Bowl whenever Katy Perry.
I'll go Shaheen.
Shaheen is left shark. Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
So small in this photo, but it's also very obvious that the land is sloping upwards. Yeah. But just looking at this, like Shaheen looks so little.
I know it's pretty funny. Oh, but this is when we get a really great moment. But we learned about Ava earlier in the episode. We learned about Ava being on the autism spectrum, and I like how she approached this conversation and said, "I just want someone in the game who can recognize what I might be going through at a specific moment and either help me get out of it or just understands what's happening so that we can just continue on playing the game. She tells Joe about her episodes that she may have and tells him the signs to look out for. And when I was at the premiere party, there were quite a few people that were tearing up at this moment. I think also because of how Joe just like really took this as just such a Ava chose a really amazing person to share this information with. And I think seeing Joe say that's my person, which Joe, as a human being, I absolutely love that. I think that is such a great attribute on Survivor. It does make me a little bit nervous because you basically did say in your confessional that you would give up your game for Ava, which very admirable, but we're playing a game. Yeah, Phil.
Yeah.
I think it's Eva.
Eva. Okay, thank you.
The whole time I was like, I want to let him cook, but
thank you.
Well, this heartfelt sentiment, but I'm gonna call you.
right. I think it's Eva. No, and we can go to the next slide. This confessional here shows me that he means every single word that he is saying to Eva.
Yep.
He has no reason to lie to us, the audience. He has absolutely no reason. And he is sitting in that confessional saying, I have got her. And I think it's so interesting. I mean, a lot of people have called it out. Like, casting must have had, like, at least an idea that this might be a union within this tribe, right? Eva, someone who has said that, she's looking for her person out here. Joe, he lost his sister to domestic. He is, a caretaker in profession, some might say. I mean, he's a firefighter. He is taking care of people. It was so beautiful. I do not know how you could watch this and not be moved. I was very, very emotional watching this myself. So it does not surprise me that at the live event that there were a bunch of people who found a lot of emotion in this. I mean, this was beautiful. A true human moment, something that we are devoid of in modern day Survivor a lot of times. And we got it here. And I'm so, so thankful that this happened. Truly.
Mm-hmm. It was great.
I had no feelings towards this.
Ollie, you are a cold bastard. So I keep on for a lot of curse on here. What I meant to say was, Ollie, we love you.
I'm joking. Just before people kill me, I was fully joking. Before I get rinsed.
No, there's also people just screaming at the TV at the party. I love him. So I thought that was really nice as well, just based on his reaction here.
No, it was a really nice human moment between both of them, which I think everyone appreciated. But I kind of agree with you, Matthew. It was hearing him say, I will kind of give up my game for her, worries me a little bit for Joe, but I don't think that's going to happen for a while, if anything.
Right. Ollie, Phil, you guys are going to have to catch me up. I think out of all of the tribe's stories, what is this tribe?
Siva.
The tribe dynamics here, I think I was paying more attention to what was happening on the other tribes. So just remind me.
So obviously with Siva after this, it was obviously everyone was having a lovely chat, like people were getting to know each other. And then it was actually Charity and Camilla were having a conversation where Charity kind of alluded to the fact where she felt like if anyone was potentially going to have an advantage, maybe Kyle. That was it. Go for it, Phil.
I think that it is very important to note that before this happened, that's what the titular conversation that was brought in by David, right? Ushered in by David. Car, how do you like your steak? Favorite movie?
Yes.
And it was during this conversation that I think that two things happened, because I think it's very important, right? I do think that if Charity went about her antics without this conversation taking place beforehand, it would have gone off without a hitch. However, during this conversation, a couple things happened. Charity was cast aside in a major way. Not at all. It was based on what food she eats. But there was a confessional by David saying, what a psychopath. You eat your steak well done? That's crazy.
Medium.
And during this, Kyle and Camilla bonded in a way that you rarely see in Survivor not only was it, oh my God, your favorite movie is that? Oh my God, your second favorite movie is that? Me too. Oh my God, me too, me too. But then immediately after, they bonded over the fact that they were both Guyanese. A tiny sort of island that apparently it was a shot in the dark, no pun intended, that they were able to connect on this. And so I think that those things are very, very important, because I think that Charity going up to her and being like, oh, I'm not sure about Kyle, that is like typical Survivor fanfare, right? Where it's like, oh my God, you sort of cast a little bit of, suspicion on someone and it goes off. It's not a big deal. But like at this point, just saying that, there has been a collective that do not like Charity. And I think that's what Gabe's saying here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's go to this group.
Was literally able to create an alliance over the dislike of Charity, if you want to throw that up, Matthew. But yeah, I think that's essentially the dynamic here at this point, is that Charity is on the outs. And there was even a moment where, oh my gosh, the other woman on the tribe, Chrissy came up, and same thing. Camilla tried to, what do you think about Charity? She goes, oh, that woman, she hasn't even spoken to me. And so, there is animosity being built. I think it's a lot of it is fickle, but it's being used as a way to connect, And
I think to that point, Amy says here, I think Camilla is trying too hard to be a villain. Let me know more, Amy, about what you were noticing with her. It wasn't I didn't necessarily get the sense of I want to be the villain of the season from Camilla, but I definitely felt like, oh, if I could focus the attention on someone else to be the first vote of our tribe, that's a really good thing. So that's what I was seeing when it came to what she was doing. I do like she has to be careful, because she can't. If I was in her position, I wouldn't want to just I wouldn't want to be the one solely keeping that energy on Charity. I would want others to kind of roll with it for me.
Yeah, honestly, if anything, I actually saw the complete opposite, Amy. I saw that, frankly, her throwing Charity under happened by way of her protecting Kyle. It was not her being like, oh, I just want to be villainous, I'm going to toss her under. Yeah. It was her being like, okay, Charity is trying to be a little bit underhanded towards Kyle. That is someone that I have grown to trust already. I'm going to protect him by throwing Charity under. I thought that it was actually more of an honorable stance than a villainous stance. And in a way,
there was a little bit of chaos in there as well.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What I was going to say is, I think that actually Charity on a tribe that had more chaos, maybe one with a say on it, would have fit in very well. Where it's like, oh my God, go somewhere and say, oh my God, I don't really like this person, and that's how everything rolls and starts. But this tribe, she just said it to the wrong person. And at that point, Camilla was like, oh, well, you're trying to sort of shade my friend here. I'm going to shade you.
Yeah, there you go. And she said other things before so you're talking about the pregame interview.
Yeah, right. Well. I don't think we've seen it yet.
Yeah. I think that's fair, Amy. If there were things that she said about how she wanted to come across, I think I see your point there. Yeah. Here's another reason why I think I found the pacing of the episode to be a bit all over the place. It felt like very long. I felt that 2 hours, which I think is why at the beginning of this episode, I was sort of talking about something didn't feel quite right, because we haven't even made it to the immunity challenge yet, because we're still finding the clues and putting it together. And so I just want to get through this portion here. But what's important to note is that the people that Say have chosen to align with are all very vocal about how this has been a really great bonding experience with Say. So this worked out. We talked about this before. It was a risk to bring people into your idol hunt, but the way Say does it and makes everyone she's aligned with feel involved, included, and a part of it, I think was really awesome. And we got the pink dolphin number 2 or whatever, and it spells the word listen, and she's able to get the idol. Yep. Yay.
You're right. I mean, I will say, yes, you're right. There's a lot in this episode. But I will say, how many times do we say, oh my God, we want more camp life. We want more camp life. We're getting more camp life.
I've never been that person though, but I agree.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that is. I love camp life, and I think that I've definitely heard in the super fan community. I feel like that is a popular sort of critique. It's like, oh, we don't get camp life anymore. Back in the day, old school Survivor, you got a ton of camp life. Modern day Survivor, you don't get enough. But Yeah.
Oh, but I don't count camp life as like idol hunts and things like that, or I like a good like element edit, right? Where they're all, in the rain
Hide
or
and
whatever.
seek.
Yeah, but it's the stuff,
Hide and seek was so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, the hide and seek with Hunter that season was amazing. Anyway, so then we go to the immunity challenge. Finally, first one of the season. No giant lizards to make me feel uncomfortable.
Man, I missed the lizard. I forgot about it. But now I missed
the gecko.
That was our first season.
That's right.
I think.
That's right. Gecko. Let's call it right. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ollie. I love the idols are gorgeous.
They are stunning.
They really are.
Them.
Yeah, I really like them. And I like when the idols are two different things. I don't like when it's like you get the top half of the bird and then you get the base of the bird statue.
I hate that.
Yeah, me too. It's really odd. But they do the challenge. They get the pieces. They do the thing. It looked pretty close.
No, go back.
Oh, is this Jeff?
Back. This is Jeff. He's just fallen behind them. Jeff tripped. Jeff went, and I love that everyone clocked it. Because
I can't believe the editors kept that in, unless they were like, "This would be fun." Like, unless Jeff was a good sport about like, "Nah, it's got to make it."
Yeah, Jeff had to be like, let's see how many people notice it. You knew we were going to.
He pops up so quickly that it almost seemed like he was like checking to make sure that it was slotted in correctly. He popped up so quickly. It was wild. Like I literally was like,
I thought it was intentional. Like I thought maybe something fell that was like I don't know. It didn't make sense. You're right. Like the fall just makes more sense. But the way in which he went down and then came back up, I thought he did something just very like erratically. Like it was just funny.
No, he tripped on the cloth to the right of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
everyone's trying to figure out what happened. It fully looks like that.
Also, Kevin's shoulder, R.I.P. Anyways, moving forward.
Yeah,
like, how
they were like, this? Kevin, you do all the work. So we get to the end. Lagi and Siva win immunity in that order, which sends Vula.
You got it.
To tribal. Thank you, Vula to tribal council. Go ahead, Ollie.
I have words here because
I'm excited.
Because I appreciate Stephanie in this moment sitting there and taking ownership. Because again, I love Say. I have felt like Say was player of the episode for me this season, like for this episode. I'll just say that. And I thought she did a really good job. But I appreciate Stephanie owning the fact that like she flunked on the puzzle. I really didn't like this moment from Say and Cedric where they were kind of just like laying into Stephanie, because every part of me would have been to say like, well, you didn't step up to do the puzzle. At least she's like acknowledging it. Like they kind of did like, this is where I feel like this is where I worry for Say, because she is a girl after my own heart, no filter, will say it how it is. If someone annoys her, she'll say it. Absolutely respect that. But in this moment, if you're going to, if this is where it continues, where she is going to, anything that happens, she's going to get irritated by, people are just going to be like, I'm good. So that's where I worry a little bit with Say in this moment, because it did seem like they were just dogging on Stephanie to the point where it was like, the girl took ownership. Like she owned her flaws there. Go ahead.
Check it out. That is exactly why they were dogging on her. Stephanie gave the open door and the full permission to absolutely crap all over her for the rest of the evening by walking into the tribe and saying, you know what, guys, this is my fault. I'm sorry. I just think that is not the way to do it. Kevin, like he did not walk into the tribe and go, oh, it's on me, guys. It's on me. Stephanie's the one that did that. And I do think that it's funny too. I mean, you all know that I like to listen to too many different podcasts. I heard something said by David Wright, where he said that he did something similar. But he also used it to say that like, You don't do that. You don't go back and unless you had full confidence that you were going to make it through. This is your first, not even your first week. This is your first cycle through an immunity challenge. I do not think that now is the time to go back and be like, clear target. It was my fault. Blame it on me. Because I do think that it makes these conversations very easy. And I think that without the sort of prompting, I would even call it, from Stephanie, I think this conversation is not only hard to have, I think to your point, I think Say does look terrible in this conversation without Stephanie opening the conversation herself. I think that then you're looking at this and going, oh my God, Say, that's like, you're being too rude. But I think that because Stephanie opened it up, I actually don't think it comes across like that. I think it's just her being like, yeah, you know what? Steph's right. She did terrible. Let's talk about it.
Can I make a devil's advocate point here, which I think actually probably is going to be true?
Sure.
Had Stephanie not even said anything, Say would have had the exact same reaction because it's Say. I say that with love.
I don't think that that's guaranteed. That's what I would say genuinely, because I think that Say is smart enough to bandwagon and pile on anything that was going to get her out of the mug. That said, look, she was targeting Stephanie this go around either way, so I do think that there was a chance that she would put it on her. However, do I think that it's guaranteed? I don't. I think that what is guaranteed is giving her the avenue to do this. She's going to take it because she's a smart player, right? And it's to be like, oh, anyone but me. Shoot, you're giving me the avenue to just completely talk about how terribly you did this challenge. Sure, I'll do it. Don't have to convince me. That was my take. Matthew, where do you land?
I'm with Phil because I think the
that was good.
Watch it. Anyway, I think the thing is what I noticed, and I think to Gabe's point,
I win.
It wasn't to Gabe's point here, it wasn't the puzzle. I didn't see it as the puzzle was the losing thing. So I could see where Stephanie was coming from. Where as a fan of the show, typically it is the puzzle people who get blamed for losing it. But it was not the puzzle that lost them this challenge. Right. And if anything, the Kevin and Stephanie got them so much closer to possibly winning than if they didn't I don't know. Yeah. So Sam, I think to your and Phil's point, I think that this conversation may have looked differently. I'm not saying that Stephanie wouldn't have been targeted, but by Stephanie taking the ownership and the accountability fully onto herself, I think opened the door for this. Definitely.
Yeah, that's what I think.
So this happens. They're all like, it's Stephanie. We got to vote Stephanie off. Stephanie. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We haven't talked about Cedric enough. He's a butt doctor. It's pretty cool. All right, moving on.
But
did Matthew freeze when I said that?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I think Matthew is literally frozen.
Oh, okay. Man. Well, we'll continue.
I should not have talked about that here.
But yeah, as we said, like this really did help. Like Kevin was like, "Yep," and actually, I think Kevin's done a really good job this episode. I know we haven't really talked about him enough, and my queen Mary, but he's in this majority alliance, but he also kind of has Mary in his pocket, like not in his pocket, but they have their little thing going on as well. Obviously, we have Stephanie and Mary, they want to go for Say, and they've got Kevin in the middle, but also they have Justin in the middle. And I think this is where Justin, I was a little bit worried because he went and had a conversation with Stephanie and Mary and stuff where he was like, yeah, that's fine. That's what we want to do. And then he went straight back to Say and Cedric, who knew that they just had a conversation with Stephanie and Mary and kind of said, so was anything said? Like, what's going on? And Justin plays it off. Like, Justin kind of goes like, no, nothing was said.
Mhm.
And I don't know why it felt weird kind of to include that moment. I don't know how you feel about it, Phil, but having that being included just makes me a little bit worried for Justin, because why would you I think Say again, we've given Say her flowers. Like, Say is smart enough to know, like, they've said names. Say knows that they're probably targeting her.
Mhm.
So for Justin to kind of play off like nothing was said, no name was said, I worry there. And it doesn't worry me this time, it worries me moving forward. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm actually really happy you brought that up, because that is something that I noticed in real time. But I will say, coming into this conversation here, it's not something that was top of mind. So I'm happy that you're bringing this up, and you know, obviously you can toggle us back to where we were at in our slide here. But it's, to me, it showed that there is absolutely potential, to your point, it seems, for Justin to sort of sweep. Oh, hello, Matthew.
Did I miss the butt talk?
You did.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like me bringing up that he was a butt doctor froze your screen, so I will not talk about it ever again.
It was too overwhelming. Okay, go ahead. Where are we?
God, third sausage party now.
Honestly, and look, you know, we know that you know, it's not every day. Ollie brought up a phenomenal point, and it's that.
Hold up! First of all, shut up.
I want to throw a little shade. No, Ollie brought up a
road.
Bring him back. Okay.
It's that Justin, when asked by Say what was said by Mary and Stephanie, instead of being forthright and talking about the fact that, oh, they are thinking about you, he was like, oh, they didn't say much. You know, oh, they didn't bring anything up. They weren't talking about anyone. Now, I think there are two ways to look at it. I was telling Ollie, I think it's such great. I'm so happy that he brought this up, because it did call out to me in real time, but I did not think about it. It was not top of mind coming in here. And what I think it's sort of showing is possibly one of two things. One is that it is showing that of the Say and Justin, you know, sort of duo that is sort of building in a greater alliance, there is a chance that while Say is the louder voice box and the faster mover and shaker, Justin has true control because he has all the information, and that he can divvy out the information as he wishes. And if he knows, hey, me telling Say this is going to have her spun out, it's going to have her spin out, I can actually withhold this information and create a more, you know, calm and collected, you know, degrees of relativity, right? Relativity, you know, a more calm and collected Say than I would get if she knew that people were also coming after her. But I also think that there is a chance that it's pointing to the fact that Justin is going to withhold information from Say, and he is fully comfortable doing that. And so maybe he's also fully comfortable, you know, kicking her to the curb when the time comes.
I think he has to, but if he does that, he has to be ready for Say, because you know Say's not going to do that. Let that go quietly.
Oh, no.
I think that Justin read Say very well here in terms of what information was important for Say to know. And because, as we know, at Tribal Council, Justin ends up voting. I mean, he keeps his options open by not divulging that information, obviously, too. But I think at the same time, he was still getting Justin was giving me very strong. I know it's episode 1, but Justin was giving me very strong potential winner vibes. I'm not sure if that rings true. Ollie said no.
Sorry. I did a Say then. My face said it all. Say's all right.
Go. No, it's okay.
No, I didn't. I think I more so worry in the sense of, and I think it's just from watching things previously and did it like, it could be a sense of he puts his hand in a little bit too many cookie jars, and he kind of puts his hand in the wrong cookie jar. That's all right. That's where my worry is for him. Okay. Just because we see him when he's doing the tribal council voting, he actually says, this may or may not be true. But he kind of says, like, this isn't what I wanted to do. So it's kind of sounds like he had a different thing in mind, but he's going to do this even though he doesn't feel like that. That's where my worry is with him. Sorry, continue.
We shall see. Time will tell. Yes. But I liked him. I liked Justin a lot this episode as well. I thought he had a very cool vibe. We go to Tribal Council. It was it felt very it felt very clear that Stephanie, to me as a viewer, I don't know, it felt very clear that she was going home. It seemed like she kind of knew, and she said it in an interview. That she kind of had the feeling, and she played the shot in the dark. We have to talk about Say's performance here, because Say, this is where I was like, oh, Say, this could be something. This could be a really big obstacle for you moving forward in the game if Say's approach to tribal councils will continue being this way, because Jeff will call people out if they make a large expression or a large reaction, and as long as Say is ready to announce what it was about to Jeff, I think Say will be okay. But I was thinking, what's funny is during all of this, I was thinking about, like, if this was if Survivor was played, not filmed, just like the game in real life, just for fun, like I feel like you wouldn't have a tribal council, because I feel like tribal council is like for the cameras in a way, because it's that asking everyone how they're feeling, what their thoughts are, any last minute strategy. But I feel like it just goes, it's for the viewers more so. And you got to be careful with that, because you are still playing the game in this moment. So you got to be really careful with what you're saying here and how you're acting in terms of making sure that your plan goes to plan.
I feel like, but normally I feel like with tribal councils, there's always a bit of this like vague, like we're giving you kind of a bit of a nothing sandwich, because we don't want, like, they don't want people to know what's going on.
Right. Doesn't Jeff hate that?
Yeah. And I feel like this is why Jeff kind of liked this, because like Say and Stephanie were like very passive aggressively going after each other, and Jeff was like, yes, keep going. I'm going to pick up on every little thing. Phil, you had a comment?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I feel like, shoot, I think I lost it.
Oh no. Is it lost in the stars?
I was about to say that.
I think it is lost in the stars. It is lost in the stars. But I guess just to move on to that, what a contentious tribal council. And for a first tribal council, for it to be this contentious is wild. Says two things to me. Say is unbelievably comfortable being contentious. And I dig that. Yeah. I love that. I love it. I love it. I would be playing this tribal probably more so, honestly, probably like any of the guys. I think that all of these guys are very are more passive, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah.
I think that this tribe, Say, is 100% the most dominant person on her tribe. I mean, Cedric with Love seems very go with the flow. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you said that. Like, we can do that. Sure. He's like a surgeon, right? He's like more measured and relaxed. Kevin, same way. He seems like he's going to go with the flow. Justin, I think Justin, to your point, Matthew, maybe the soonest to be a squeaky wheel, going off the beaten path, have his own idea and try to tackle that. However, I think that even Justin is like, I think he's gonna let Say do her thing until she burns out,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that dynamic for this tribe is very interesting. I don't remember the last time that we have had someone like Say on our screens. So I'm ready to ride until she's self-destructs, which I do think is probably going to be her undoing. I think that it is going to be herself that sort of gets herself out, but definitely appreciated this tribal council. Definitely a lot of contention, and I hope to see more.
And I will agree, much better tribal council than the premiere of Survivor 45. That
oh my god
is indisputable. Please. So
I never want to see it again. Yep.
I know. I liked it up until that point.
45, never.
I love that season. Show 45 some love in the chat, if not the premiere, but the season I like. Anyway,
you don't have to chat. Don't worry.
Oh, Phil. Okay.
I do not like 45.
I need to write your name on the other side of this parchment.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Honestly, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. So we end up and Say it has a spot on in terms of reads. She's like, she walks up there. She says a shot in the dark is going to get played. Can't wait to see what happens. I think they showed us because there's a potential that wait, Sam. Is it better than the Survivor 44 premiere tribal? Who went home that time?
Well, you had Bruce. But then also it was Maddie because it was also
Maddie.
Brandon playing as Idol.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
I actually, at the very least, I thought that was fun because you got the back and forth between Maddie and Brandon, and I also love, yeah. Sorry,
Thank you, Gabe.
Matthew, you were.
Thank you, Gabe.
Voting?
Sorry, just me too. I love 47 now also, but yeah, 45.
Oh
My favorites.
my gosh, that's
I
wild.
know.
I do think. Look, I will say this, just to I don't know, not be so negative. I love the post merge. I just
45.
despise a 45. I genuinely despise the pre-merge of 45. Like, would never be able to watch again. Like, these two like, almost stopped me from podcasting. Like, literally.
Yes.
Yes, you guys remember that. I literally was like, guys, I cannot show up unless I'm allowed to be honest because I do not like what's going on. I was not happy.
Actually, thinking about this now, while we're just sorry to go off the beaten path, but I love seeing all of you.
We're getting into lore.
We're getting into the lore, the Got Something For You lore. And I love seeing all of you in the chat. Sam, at 43, I love that you're letting us know what your favorite season is. Sincere,
I like
46 with Jelinsky. I know, I got it. Oh, Sincere also agreed with my point from earlier. So, but I think, honestly, thinking back on 45, that was our first season podcasting as a group. But I think because of how that season started, it's definitely morphed how we talk about Survivor today. So I'm very grateful that it started out that way because I think we found something really good here. I love what we got going on.
I love it.
We get a shot in the dark play. Stephanie is not safe. I would have said, Stephanie, that hat of yours is a hidden immunity idol. Just go ahead and burn it and you'll be in the game. But no, we have to say goodbye to Stephanie. She knew it was coming. Yeah.
One thing, calling out her using shot in the dark, like I actually, again, just like you gotta give her some credit here. Give her some credit. Because here, but I also, I think that all three of us love Say, but I have heard a lot of critiques on Say. And I think what's interesting is like, yes, she is loud, she is brash, she is like doing a lot. However, she's like clued in. It actually blew my mind when she said this. Just like to self, she played her shot in the dark. I feel it. I was like, oh my God. I was like, how'd you get that? Like, that's pretty wild. Good for you. And it seemed like she maybe even tipped her off to do that because she said earlier in the tribal, she was like, and it's shot in the dark. People all have that. And so that's going to add it. Like, Say has really, really impressed me. Big fan of Say. Hope that we get her for longer than.
Yes. Hang in there, Say. We're
I was gonna say, in the same breath, I hope that we get her for long because it seems like we might not. But sorry. Goodbye, Stephanie. I love your hat. I love your hat. I love your hat, literally. Right. Matthew. I don't think I've ever just that the shade of the all right. Wow.
Love the outfit. Stephanie, love the entire outfit.
Without the hat.
Without the hat.
Sorry. I like the hat. Anyways, let's get Ollie to the top here. What's next, right?
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, first of all, Stephanie, I'm glad that you definitely chose to play the game in a specific way. It didn't work out, unfortunately. I think if you were on any other season, it might have worked out depending on the cast. It just luck was not in your favor. The stars were not aligned for you here. So, Stephanie, I hope that you had a good experience while you were there, but we will, see you another time. Ollie, take us through one of my favorite sections. The tribe is posted. Oh no, I have to play the thing. I can't find
it's the first one of the season, guys. Give us a break. Get us a break.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay, Ollie.
There. It was the struggle announcement. Yes, the tribe is posted where we have, I have scrolled through all the social medias, looking at all the content. Can I just say, I have got 6 slides. Like, I could have had so many more. There's like even stuff today that I wish I had seen before I'd like gone out and like had a life. Because like I could have had like 10. I could have easily had like 10 slides without even our polls.
Oh, well, that's a good sign. Let's get to the good stuff. I want to see.
So the first slide I have this was kind of like watch parties. because there were some really good watch pies that were obviously happening. I wanted Bianca's here just because I freaking love that outfit, Bianca. Like, please send me those trousers. They're slay. Kevin had a really cool watch party. He has a reel which I posted there, which looked so cool. And Arnica and Keishan from last season were there. It looked really fun. Same with Justin. The next slide I have is the little bit of drama we had from Vula, my queen, Miss Mary. Me wondering if I got called a hoochie mama because my bangs work too hard or because my drip was just too impenetrable. And then Say as well is selling some merch. These hoochies are obsessed with me. These were the first tweets I found and I just loved them. Queen Mary is all I have to say. This is where we're talking about Matthew. You talked about it earlier in the episode. Mike Bloom posted about it. Kevin as well on his Instagram mentioned what had occurred. So during the challenge, he went to pick it up, it slammed down and he dislocated his shoulder. And for the entire challenge, his shoulder was dislocated. The producers then at the end had to be like, right, we're going to have to do something. And basically, he had to get them to pop it back in. And that's when he could finally say, did we do the challenge? Did we win? And then obviously all the earnings applies. So go read all of this. He encompasses it all very well. Next up, we've got Eva's little journey. She had her wonderful moment and she posted about it. Go read it. It is amazing. And she also talks about one of the charities she works for. A really lovely read again. We saw everything that had come up there. So it was lovely. And then just a couple of other tweets. Say, I could have done like 6 things on Say. Everyone that was doubting her might need to put their thing in this bucket for her, embarrassed. The one in the middle is Charity when she sat there going, yes, I really need to not tell people how much of a dingus they are. And I really wanted to show this tweet of Chrissy just because I thought it was so cute. She's like, I didn't get out first. Here's a cup. I thought it was absolutely adorable. I loved it personally. And then some other ones we have, this was Thomas, California Girls, which I absolutely found hilarious. You wanted a shark, you had all 3 of them with cupcake bras. Yes. Then you've got the middle one, Shaheen. This was actually a pre-premiere tweet. And they say that they're using they're using dirt now for contour. Sue, how did I do? And I think he did well. And finally, again, another one for Say. Again, I could do so many for Say. We talked about it earlier. She got the most confessionals in a single episode with 21. And she's just saying she's just grateful to be in the room. And I will say to everyone that is hating on her on everything, trust me, she does not care. And she will sleep lovely and proud. So trust and believe.
But on that note, don't do it.
Yeah. Chill out there.
Don't do it because she'll shade you and so will I.
I know it's none of our viewers, hopefully, but yeah.
Never.
Oh, and we have one final thing before we get to the polls, and it was Stephanie's little goodbyes. She had a co-worker text her going, no spoilers, but how'd it go? A celebration the life of Stephanie. And then in the end, it was, I believe this tweet is actually from Drop Your Buffs pod. And it is how she looks if she was Portia from The White Lotus. And the caption is just for the job you want.
Oh, I love that. That is so correct.
Yes.
That is so correct.
But now we are going to get to the polls. So a reminder for everyone, we do this every season. On X, we will be dropping 3 polls that we have from the episode and fill them out. Give us your thoughts because we will say them here. We don't have the first bit, so I'm just going to read them out and then Matthew will reveal them. Just because it's... Oh, you did it. Well done. So the first one was, would you align with someone who orders their steak well done? Little throwback to Charity here. Phil?
I'd be weary, so maybe.
Okay. Well, sorry, Matthew.
No, someone in my family does too, and I don't agree with it, and I'd be wary.
Okay, well, the results are...
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to do... Okay, here we go. Yeah. Okay.
56% said, yeah, I don't judge. And then 22% each said that they'd be wary and know how can you trust her. Sam in the chat agrees. I don't judge.
There you go, Sam.
You know what they say? God don't judge. My name's Phil.
So our next one was, how would you feel if you were pulled into a majority alliance day one? I'm in, that's my group. I'd consider it for now. I'd be guarded, no trust.
I would say I'm in. But even if I don't feel like I'm going to be with them for a long time, it's a majority who want to work with me past the first vote. I'm in.
So you consider it for now?
Sure, but like I think I'd go along with it if we lost the immunity.
Yeah, I'm going A. I'm in. That's my group. If I decide to leave later, it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
However, how would I feel when I'm pulled into day one? That's my group. Let's go, sisters.
Okay. So I can reveal that with 71% of the vote, the majority answer was...
All right, Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, is it? You switched it? Okay, it's me. Okay.
Yeah. I'd consider it for now.
Yeah.
With 29% saying I'm in, that's not my group. No one actually say they'd be guarded, which is very interesting.
That's good. It's probably good.
Yeah. And the final poll, this is bad. What kind of game would you play at this early stage, basically? We have to realize my grammar is crap. It's meant to say, how would you play? But no one's clocked it until right now, so no one can judge me. Matthew, shut up. So it's, how would you play at this early stage of the game? Would you play hard from the start, slow but steady, sit back and observe, or chaotic, because YOLO, just like I did just then? I saw that, Ira.
I think that I have to go with, I'm siding with my friend Sam over here. I'm going to do sit back and observe. That's what I'm going with.
I'm the same way. It feels odd saying that because it did not work out for someone in this episode because we saw that was Stephanie's approach. But that to me feels like the most natural way about it.
But see, I don't think that she sat back and observed. I feel like she was deliberately slow and steady. See, those are two different categories, right?
No, because she kept saying, "I'm going to sit back. I'm going to sit back." She was holding herself down. She was going to sit on her hands, which I guess maybe.
I think that for like sit back and observe, to me, that is more of a Justin, Cedric, Kevin sort of deal, right? Where like they got brought into this thing. They did not initiate it, but they were when brought up to it, when brought up to them, they were like, okay, sure, why not? We'll see what goes on here. We'll observe.
I think we're misaligned on the meaning.
Because I was going to say, because for Stephanie, right, when it was brought up to her, she deliberately was like, no, I want to be slow and steady. I want to learn about your mom. Yeah. Instead of being like, yeah, sure, why not? And then taking it from there, which is what I think the other guys did. I think that Stephanie specifically was playing slow and steady.
Yeah.
Yes. Fuzzy borders on these answers.
Like I do think we're thinking the same thing, just in different categories. And we didn't talk about that moment, but I did love that. Oh, I actually do want to get to know your mom a little bit. It was funny. Okay, was that it for the polls, Ollie?
Yes.
We haven't got our answer.
No, the answer with
it's my first
60% day. Sit back and observe, with the other 40 saying slow but steady.
Nice.
But yes, that is everything for the polls.
Wow, this was fun.
I'm so glad to have these polls back. Again, they're posted on X. So go ahead and follow Survivor Now Pod on X to be able to just participate in these. I find them to be a lot of fun. And as always, I just want to thank all of you for joining Phil, Ollie, and myself for Got Something For Ya. I'm so happy that we're finally back. We are finally back. It's been too long, but has it? No, it's been long. I miss hanging out with all of you on my Saturdays. I just want to thank you all again who participate in our live chat conversations. You're definitely like all of our additional co-hosts. We love hearing your thoughts about the episodes. I always look forward to seeing what you all have to say. So just, give a round of applause for being here. As always, we do have a lot going on at Survivor Now podcast, not only with Survivor 48 coverage, which starts every Wednesday and goes all the way through Sunday with all of our different shows, where you get to see everyone at Survivor Now podcast have their own different unique takes on how the season is going so far. But we are also covering Australian Survivor. So if you're watching that, which is sincere, I know that you are watching Australian Survivor. I love it. Yeah, Phil.
How deep are we? I was going to say, how deep are we into the season? Because there's a chance that I might want to catch up and hop on a recap.
You got 6 episodes. 7, 8, and 9 are coming out this week.
Okay. Jesus. 3 episodes in a week.
Yeah.
Y'all are on a whole different time. All right.
Yeah. I have calendar notifications. I have schedule chunks of when I need to watch these episodes. It is a fun commitment to have.
Yes.
I think it's better paced than Big Brother 3 episodes a week. Just gonna say. So with that, and Phil, we would love to have you join us for a recap at some point. This is exciting. I think, would this be your first Australian Survivor that you watch?
Please. This would be my first Australian Survivor watch through, period. Yes.
I love it. But right now it's Ollie, Valeria, and myself, Valeria, from Titans vs. Rebels. We just had an amazing conversation with her and Caroline for this week's episodes 4 through 6. So make sure you go check that out.
Sausage pie.
It was a lot of fun. With that, we are going to end our first episode of Got Something For You for Survivor 48 right here. Thank you all so much again for joining us, and we will see you next weekend to talk about episode 2.